Welcome to my third vlog, the focus of which will be on my own coaching process. For this vlog, I've used a client who works for the US Air Force as a professional musician and who has limited experience within strength training but is highly intrinsically motivated and a very quick learner. Each of our training sessions is repeated during the week by the client, which has been speeding up the learning process. Each of the individual sessions throughout our video will be broken down into 7 subtopics, including what the exercise is and the client's experience with it, common mistakes and possible cues pertaining to the most common errors. We'll then watch the video showing the behaviour to be analysed. This will be followed by a discussion of how the coaching process is linked together within this example, what key messages in this video, which is behaviour, can be derived, and then how it can improve on a similar situation. Before we begin, I must apologise as the gym is on a military base and had music playing in the background, and there were others using the facility, which is why I've added subtitles. Enjoy! The first exercise to be looked at will be thoracic extensions on a foam roller, which is being done for the second time. Common errors include rib flaring, hips rising off the floor, and excessive lumbar extension taking emphasis away from the thoracic spine. Common cues include keeping the hips on the floor, actively tensioning the abdominals, and using the roller as a fulcrum.
Yeah. So where's the bottom of your rib cage?
Right there.
So yeah, don't go any lower than where it is. Right. So give yourself a hug. Stomach. Just put a bit of tension in, and then just drop down a bit backwards. Try and extend into the upper spine, not forward. Okay, come up. Change position, hold. And again. Keep on the ground. Tension in your stomach. And hinge back. Relax, change position of the bowl. Just roll your body that way. Other way.
Oh, further right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again. Really drop back, really try and act. Yeah, and relax, go up.
I chose this approach, similar to Kolb's experimental learning theory, due to the limited experience of the participant and the need for the reinforcement of a previous experience. Reflective observation should occur during the participant's self-led training during the week and will be discussed in the next session. The key message from this section was the poor use of language and hand signals when having the participant move in relation to the roller, causing confusion. An improvement in the clarity of explanations is essential to avoid such situations. In this case, not using a hand signal and using the phrase, "move the roller up your back towards your head and extend," would have avoided confusion. The second exercise is bilateral bridges with unilateral lowers for the second occasion. Common errors include dropping of the ipsilateral hip, driving from the toes, and excessive lumbar extension, to name a few. Cues include squeezing the glutes to control the hips and aligning the shoulders, hips, and knees.
Just lift your toes up so that you don't use front foot at all. Okay. Lift the hips high, squeeze your glutes, hold that position, lift the leg, keep the hip here, and down. Both legs down, lift up. Up, starting. Down to the ground, restart. Okay, lift. Squeeze, hold. Nice. And down. Lift. Hold, extend. Nice. And down. Lift. Hold, extend. Nice. Down. Lift. Extend. Hold, down. One more, all on you.
As the participant knew this exercise better than the thoracic extensions, we did not have to go through all of the cues individually. Instead, I utilised Skinner's operant conditioning theory, whereby positive reinforcement upon the successful completion of each repetition was used, to make an association between the correct movement and a positive consequence. This was characterised by my use of the word nice upon successful completion. The key message for myself during this section was my sitting posture. Although the proximity to the client shows that I'm engaged in the activity, a more active posture such as kneeling would have been more appropriate and made the participant feel more valued. The third exercise is Russian kettlebell swings for the second occasion. Common errors include the loss of neutral spine, excessive knee flexion, and a lack of coordination between the arms, hip, and torso. Cues include maintaining a deadlift posture, snapping of the hips forwards, and exhaling forcefully at the top of the swing.
I need to push my forearms with the elbows thrust of the deck, right? It's more like a pushing with this onto it, like that. And I remember it's basically in a squat position. Is that right?
Not quite. Is it hip down or knee down?
I feel like hips. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna guess that.
So remember doing the kettlebell deadlift?
Yeah.
So it's a hip
Deadlift. Yeah.
Exactly, so it's the same thing. Just remember it's a bit long, so yeah. Just try and rip the kettlebell off, push your knees outside in, and then from there, keeping contact with the forearms, and you only release once there's enough momentum in the bell.
Having had the participant perform the kettlebell swing previously, and watch videos on the correct form required for effective execution of the exercise over the past week, I approached this section by listing exercise form and active reflection upon what he had learnt. This is similar to Kolb's abstract conceptualization, whereby analysis of the concept is carried out, which is then reinforced by observation and again by practice of the task. Practice was then followed by self-checking, though it is not included in this clip. Starting the task with an open question was difficult for the participant due to his novice status. The use of more closed questions may have been more appropriate considering his level of training. Our final exercise is rollouts on a Swiss ball for the third occasion. Common errors include flaring of the rib cage, dropping of the hips during extension, and pulling through the hips, not the lats, to complete the exercise. Cues include drawing the belly button towards the spine, pressing the hands into the ball, and pulling the blades of the hands back towards the knees on return.
So you can get into different positions, so that I use the canister. This is not the best one. Right? This is quite difficult to do. But just imagine once you're out in that position, that you're making that canister inside your body. So you're sucking your spine towards your belly, you squeeze your bum. And in that position, you take small breaths, but you're not going to disturb the outside of it. So once I'm in the extended position, I'm going to hold there. I'm just going to take small breaths. So that I don't change the position of anything. Right, and it's not easy to do.
Okay. Conceptually,
Yeah, conceptually it'll be fine.
physiologically, it's
Right. So maybe to start a little bit closer and try just doing two of them in a closer position. So roll out. Three. Come back.
yeah, it works.
Okay. Go again. Canister.
Yeah.
And come in. Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now try and extend the foot. Okay, go again. Hold. Hold the canister. Pull in. Can you hold that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to go as far as you feel you can, but still have control of it. You can find what to do.
Due to the complexity of teaching how to retain abdominal tension whilst extending the shoulders, I used a command style in which I, as the instructor, made all of the decisions, and gave haptic feedback during the exercise in the form of touch to efficiently use the time and speed up the learning process. Regression of the movement through a reduction in the range of motion further helped by reducing the exertion required for the exercise. Although I was concentrating on the task, upon successful completion of the exercise I could have been more positive and given feedback to reinforce learning. In conclusion, through the examples shown, we can see that I've utilised a number of methods, but that they follow general coaching models whereby demonstrations, cues, regressions and progressions, practice and feedback are all given for the exercise prescribed, but the degree to which the different aspects are utilised is dependent on the level of expertise and experience of the participant. For example, the abdominal breathing was entirely new and was therefore taught in a command style, whereas the kettlebell swing had been practiced and learnt previously. Therefore, the approach for its practice was more open and athlete-centred. From a behavioural perspective, I need to be more willing to give positive feedback, to know when to ask open and closed questions, and ensure that my body position is appropriate and shows that I'm interested in the task. However, I was generally pleased with the session and have received very positive feedback from this client.